I spent 6 hours studying for my history exam. 6 hours! I highlighted everything, I read my notes 3 times. The next day, in the exam, I looked at the question and nothing. It was gone. It's like my brain is a leaky bucket. I pour all this information in and it just flows right out. What am I even doing wrong?
Most students feel that way. They blame their memory, or they think the only solution is to study for even more hours.
Right! Maybe I needed 8 hours, not 6.
But what if the problem isn't the bucket? What if your brain isn't a bucket at all?
What is it then?
Think of it more like a library, a huge personal library. All the information you studied for 6 hours, it's in there. It didn't leak out.
I don't believe that. If it was in there, I would have remembered it for the exam.
The information is on a shelf, somewhere in that library. The problem isn't storage. The problem is you don't have a good system for finding it again. You're the librarian, but you have no catalog. You just have thousands of books lying on the floor.
A library with no system. Okay, I can see that. It feels chaotic, just like my brain during a test. So how do I build the system?
We can start by looking at what most students do and why it feels right, but quietly fails them.
You mean my highlighting and rereading?
Exactly. When you reread your notes, the words look familiar. Your brain says, "Ah, yes, I've seen this before." That feeling of familiarity is comfortable. It feels like learning.
It does. It feels like I'm making progress, like I'm reinforcing the knowledge.
But familiarity is a trap. It's like walking through your library and looking at the covers of the books. You recognize the covers, but you have no idea what's inside them or even where to find them again tomorrow.
So when I'm rereading, I'm just looking at the book covers.
Yes, you're not actually opening the book. The real work of learning, the thing that builds your library's catalog system, is not the act of putting information in. It's the act of pulling it out.
Pulling it out? What does that mean?
It means closing the book. It means looking at a blank piece of paper and asking yourself, what were the main causes of the French Revolution? And then trying to answer from memory alone.
Oh, that sounds hard and slow. My mind would go blank.
At first it will. That feeling of struggle, of your mind searching for the answer, that is the moment of learning. That's you, the librarian, creating a pathway to that book on the shelf. Every time you struggle to find it, the path gets a little clearer. You're forcing your brain to retrieve the information.
So you're saying the uncomfortable feeling of not remembering is actually good?
It's the only thing that works. Imagine you need to learn the streets of a new city. You could look at a map for an hour. Everything would seem familiar. Or you could look at the map for 5 minutes, then put it away and try to draw it from memory.
I would draw a terrible map.
Exactly. But then you'd look at the real map again, see your mistakes, and try drawing it a second time. Which method do you think would actually teach you the city?
The drawing, for sure. So my highlighting is just staring at the map, and what you're calling retrieval is trying to draw the map.
You've got it. That's the first turning point. Stop being a passive reader and start being an active retriever of information.
Okay, so I try to pull information out. But even when I do that, sometimes I remember it for a day and then it's gone again. It doesn't feel permanent.
This brings us to a second common belief. Students think that if they understand something once, deeply, it should stick. The moment of understanding feels like the finish line.
Yes, when I finally get a difficult concept in math, I feel this huge relief. Okay, I know this now.
But a single moment of understanding is like creating a tiny, thin path in a dense forest. It's there, but if you don't walk it again, the forest will grow over it in a day or two. It disappears.
So even if I retrieve it once, the path is still weak.
It is. The goal is not just to create a path, but to make that path strong and clear so you can walk it effortlessly months from now. You want to build a memory that is durable.
And how do I do that? By just retrieving it over and over again on the same day?
That's what most people try. They'll drill themselves with flashcards for 2 hours straight. It's better than rereading, but it's still not very efficient. You're walking that same little path again and again while it's already clear. The real magic happens when you let the path get a little bit overgrown first.
You mean I should wait until I've started to forget it? That feels wrong. Forgetting is the enemy.
We think it is. But what if forgetting is a necessary part of learning? When you wait a day or a few days, the path back to that memory is harder to find. Your brain has to work harder to clear it. That struggle, that extra effort, is what signals to your brain, oh, this information is important. I should build a stronger, wider road to it.
So letting myself forget a little bit makes the memory stronger when I finally remember it.
It makes it much stronger. Think of it like lifting weights. If you lift a weight that's very easy for you, your muscles don't grow. You need to lift something that feels heavy, that requires effort. The effort and learning is the act of remembering something you almost forgot. That effort is what builds a durable memory path.
That makes sense, but it still feels hard. If this is all true, why do so many good students still struggle? They study all the time, they get good grades, but a month after the final exam, they admit they've forgotten almost everything.
Because our school system often rewards the wrong kind of studying. It rewards cramming. Cramming is the perfect strategy for passing a test tomorrow and the perfect strategy for forgetting everything by next week.
Right, that's exactly what happens. I cram, I pass, I forget.
Cramming creates those weak, temporary paths in the forest. They're good enough for a 24-hour journey, but a rainstorm will wash them away. The system you're building with retrieval and strategic forgetting is for the long term. It's not about passing one test. It's about actually keeping the knowledge.
So the timing matters. I shouldn't review something immediately. I should wait. But how long?
This is the third and maybe most important turning point. Most students have only 2 timings for studying, now and the night before the exam.
Guilty.
A better system is to space out your practice. You retrieve the information today, then you try again in a day or 2. Then when you can do that easily, you wait 4 or 5 days, then a week, then a month.
That sounds complicated to keep track of.
It can be, but the principle is simple. The better you know it, the longer you should wait before you practice it again. Each time you successfully retrieve it after a longer gap, you reinforce the memory. You're not just rebuilding the same path. You're upgrading it from a dirt track to a paved road and finally to a highway.
And the longer I wait, the harder the retrieval and the stronger the final memory becomes.
Exactly. That's the core of an efficient study system. It's not about how many hours you put in, it's about the quality and timing of your effort.
So let me see if I get this whole library idea now.
Go ahead.
Rereading my notes is like wandering around the library, just looking at the book covers. It makes me feel like I know where things are, but I don't.
Perfect. The first step is to stop doing that and start active retrieval. That's like going to the front desk and asking for a specific book without knowing its location. The struggle is my brain, the librarian, working hard to find it.
Yes, the catalog system is being built in that moment.
Then, to make that catalog entry durable and strong, I need to come back and ask for the same book later. Not in 5 minutes, but maybe tomorrow or next week, spacing it out. And each time you do that, the librarian finds it a little faster. The path becomes clearer. You are telling your brain, this book is important. Keep it accessible.
Wow, okay. That image, that makes perfect sense. But what if the idea is really complex? Sometimes just retrieving a definition isn't enough.
That's a great point. A good librarian doesn't just know where a book is, they know how it connects to other books. When you retrieve a core idea, you shouldn't just state it. You should try to elaborate on it.
What do you mean by elaborate?
Explain it in your own words. Think of a real-life example. How does this connect to something you already know? It's like you're writing notes on the catalog card. You're not just listing the book's location. You're adding a summary and linking it to other books on related topics. That creates a rich network of connections.
So when I try to retrieve one idea, it will pull the other connected ideas with it.
Precisely. Your library becomes less like a collection of individual books and more like a web of knowledge. The whole system starts to feel more natural, more intuitive.
So it's not just a set of rules I have to follow. Eventually, I'll just know how to learn things properly.
It becomes a habit of mind. You'll find yourself doing it automatically. When you read an interesting article, you'll pause at the end and ask yourself, what were the 3 main points? You'll start building a library for everything, not just for school.
Okay, I want to try this. So to start, for my next history chapter, I should read a small section, then close the book and try to write down everything I can retrieve from it.
A perfect first step. And when I can't remember something, I should look at the book again, but only to fill in the gaps. Then I put the book away and try to explain the whole thing, including the part I just checked. I have to elaborate on the idea.
That's it. And then crucially, what will you do tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I won't reread the chapter. I'll just take out my blank piece of paper and try to retrieve it all again, to reinforce the memory. And it'll be a little easier than today. The path will be a little clearer. You'll be building a truly durable memory.
So all this time, all this anxiety, I thought I had a bad memory, but I just had a bad system for my library. I was a librarian who only ever dusted the books, but never learned how to read the catalog.
And now you know.
That feels like a huge relief.
Hello, everyone. We're so glad you joined us for this conversation. If there's a specific challenge or topic you're thinking about, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to explore it in a future episode.